Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Monday, November 15th, and, well, is it 15th? No, 19th, never mind. November 19th. We have got some really good rolls here. We have to play 50 Murlocs for 100, play 50 Battle Cries for 100, and we have to get 3 victories with a Druid and Hunter for 60. So and I'm certainly not in a bad place with gold. It would be also nice if we could get up to rank 20, so let's see what we can do. Do I even have a Murloc deck? Like, I have a wild Murloc deck and I have a wild Battlecry deck, so guess we'll just play ranked Murloc here, and that'll be that. Like, for these kind of daily quests, I was making wild decks because they're not designed specifically to win. You can see this one has like a 100% victory with only 2 games played on it. Which that'll certainly go down. Let's see, we want to see if we can get rid of some things. Gamasutra has an article as I try to go through the news. I'm going to try and burn through the news. It'd be nice if this was our second, our last recording today. I've got some little programming automation work I'm gonna try and work on. Let's see. So the thing here, I play this now, it doesn't work. If I play this now, it doesn't really do anything, so I should just end my turn. Gamasutra has an article. PUBG Corporation details the results of its 3-month quote fix PUBG push. Let's see what they actually did. The team knocked out 100 of the bugs and quality life improvements on the docket during the 3-month period, banned 2 million accounts while working on anti-cheat improvements, though a future developer letter will detail those efforts further, and improved how long it takes the game to load parts of the level while moving. 100 bugs is not a lot. It really just isn't. I don't know how you are happy with the idea of, oh, we knocked out 100 bugs in 3 months. I guess maybe what they're saying is they knocked out 100 bugs on a list of specific bugs that people were complaining about. But even then, that's not great. And it also, frankly, from my perspective, outside of PUBG fandom, this just all feels too little too late, in my opinion. I don't think PUBG is coming back into the general zeitgeist of people's minds. Like, if anything, PUBG might be worthy of a worst launch or worst post-launch support of 2018. Moving on, Gamasutra has an article. The Strong Museum debuts an exhibition focusing on women in the industry. I assume this is the video game industry. Quote, "It must be reimagined. Imagine game industry where men and women feel safe enough to bring their entire selves to truly collaborate." This is from the former CEO of Her Interactive, Megan Gayser, discussing what inspires her to be a game developer. I don't know who Megan Gayser is, but I wouldn't be surprised if she is a big time player of these kind of pushes. I'd like to know, when you look at this, just in fairness, you always look in the opposite direction. Is there anywhere a men in the video game industry exhibit anywhere in the world? Anywhere at all? Because honestly, when you're talking about game developers, you've got some big names like Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of like Mario, and like the Metal Gear Solid and Suda 51 and some of them, but they don't, I think, have anything in the museum. It would be a lot nicer, in my opinion, if it was just developers getting highlighted instead of this hyper focusing on women, when with a few minor exceptions that they kind of haven't played a big role in game development, whether that's because they were cut out from being able to play a big role, or whether that was simply because they chose not to. Like, there was definitely some women at Atari. Let's see. But yeah, there really hasn't been a lot. And see, I'm trying to think of some of the video game museums that I keep an eye on, and I don't think any of them yeah, I don't think any of them really highlight any developers at all. Developers have always been kind of this forgotten background concept. There we go. The exhibit itself, just to get away from my take on it, includes games like well, developers and programmers who worked on games like Centipede, King's Quest, and Phantasmagoria. See, yeah, and I knew, like, Rhianna Pratchett made the King's Quest series, and she's probably the most famous video game developer, and she's not that famous. I had no idea that any female developer had worked on Centipede or Phantasmagoria. And that's like the 3 examples that are given, so clearly it's a small exhibit at that point. You're not getting very detailed. Like, if you were to do the opposite of this, I don't know what you would do though. Do you want Cliff Bleszinski? Do you want to present an exhibit to him? Do you want Peter Molyneux, an exhibit depicted to him? Like, some of the Japanese developers, I think you could be a little bit nicer to. You could definitely do Shigeru Miyamoto, and there's not a lot controversial about him. Inherently, there's another thing to take away from this, and this is one of these stories where I always feel like, oh man, I'm making just these super, like, non-progressive opinions on it, but it really is. I mean, I'm just trying to be fair to everybody, you know, equal perception. Like, and when you think of it from that perspective, I just realized, because making video games is such a team effort, there kind of is no I in team. So Like, unless you're a solo developer, which if you're a solo developer, you're probably not going to make a game that that's so good that it deserves to be in a museum or have an exhibit around it. Like, there's no I in team, frankly. And so I think I'd kind of have a problem with a museum exhibit on any developer. Particularly as bad as credits have been on video games. Like, where people who worked on those games just don't get credited at all. So I would much prefer museum exhibits play to the populace and people who are interested in learning things and just talking about the video games as the main focus. So if there was an exhibit on adventure games, if there was an exhibit on horror games, if there was an exhibit on point-and-click games, I would be much more interested in that. If there was an exhibit on specific consoles, I'd be much more interested in that than talking about or seeing an exhibit about who developed a game. What is more important, the person who invented the concept of a map, or the fact that a map exists and is useful information? The fact that the map exists. Moving on though, like, I want to burn through things, and if I continuously get into rants, I won't be able to do that. So we'll just try to play Murlocs now, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and please. We have a game on Steam called Super Pong, as I guess a Super Pong. At the very least, this is like a multiplayer version of Pong, which is doing something interesting there. Like, for all the bad low-effort Pong games on Steam, I think this one actually deserves to be on the fall list. And not at $7.64 when I actually buy it, but I kind of want to put this on the fall list so I can talk about it when we do the fall list cleanup, probably in March. This idea is something new. Go in a circle, go against multiple people, have multiple balls. The animation's still pretty bad. It's still a single screen Unity game, but it's not terrible. There you go, and of course I lost. Which, no big deal. We're just playing Murlocs now. It'd be nice if we moved up and ranked in Wild, but it kinda doesn't matter. Hey, we're also playing some Battlecry cards. Moving on, Game of Sutra has an article. The former Activision Blizzard devs have launched Mythical Games, securing $16 million in funding. This is by the former Activision CEO John Linden and CCO Jamie Jackson, with the head of blockchain Rudy Koch, senior producer of Blizzard, and CPO Stephen Cunningham as the director of global product management at Yahoo. So this is, I believe, the game that's going to be built around the blockchain idea, which, like, I don't know if that inherently means it's cryptocurrency, or if they're just using blockchain as something to verify actions while playing online, because that could be done. It would just be incredibly slow. What you would have to do is you'd have to take the idea of a blockchain verification process, as I understand it, which I barely understand it, but the idea is there's a certain number of unaffiliated, theoretically independent observers who are running the same calculation, and if they are coming up with the same hashes, they're verifying that a transaction occurred the way a transaction occurred. So in the theory, if you gave $1 in cryptocurrency to somebody, there would be say 5 people who would run verifications to see that that dollar has left the wallet of you and gone into the wallet of this other person. And after a certain number of people have verified that, then then all is good. And if they come back and they say, no, this is wrong, the money didn't leave your wallet, you didn't give $1 to this person, this other person didn't receive $1, that's where conflicts won't happen. So if you were to take that blockchain verification idea alone, cut off the part about it being about money and cryptocurrency, and instead had it be something like you've got 100 people playing on Fortnite against each other. 20 people's CPUs are observing whether you shot that enemy in the head or not. Your client says, yes, I shot him in the head. He took that hit. He should be dead. Their clients then would crunch the numbers, and theoretically they'd have to do this almost instantaneously with like no latency, and that's where blockchain, for being anything useful in a video game, falls apart. Is would never be no latency. This would be a nightmare. So it probably is that Activision Blizzard former devs watching mythical games are just trying to do a cryptocurrency scheme. But let's say it really is just blockchain verifying actions in the middle of a gunfight. That would be supposedly, I suppose, a little bit better than anti-cheat. I wouldn't be surprised if the anti-cheat software that exists these days is not that great. It seems like the same old schemes and scams can be done if you want to cheat in most games. But yeah, that's the only way I could see blockchain being used though in a game without it just being the same ridiculous ideas of I'm just going to make a lot of cryptocurrency coins, and this is going to be the next next Bitcoin, which there won't be the next Bitcoin ever, because the next Bitcoin would have to be as untraceable as Bitcoin seemed like it was originally. Because from my understanding, as somebody who never got into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, the majority of what was being bought with Bitcoin was illegal, or like illegal products and services, straight up assassinations and drugs, things that people really didn't want traced. Nowadays, that's probably never going to be the case. People know that it can be traced. It probably could have always been traced. There is also the fact that around the world and in the United States, slowly we're embracing marijuana, at least, so the need to try and buy marijuana with Bitcoin is out, and that stars that. Also, there's just insane speculators, as there always are, and so any new cryptocurrency is immediately flooded with people speculating on the value. But that's getting really far away from video game news, so let's move on. Next we have a game on Steam called Scraps and Patches. This thumbnail looks good, but once we start looking at the screenshot, I don't think I can actually look at videos like this, because this is just too big. I need to go back and zoom out back to this. I'm not 100% happy with how it looks this way either. I kind of wish that there was a way to zoom in between the two. But anyways, for this game, yeah, it looks like pretty low effort graphics. It's not making it to the follow list. I wonder. This and this. And then here, here, here. Go ahead and kill this one and that one. Yeah, at the end of last recording I talked about the Castlevania Season 2. Here TechRaptor has an article. Adi Shankar announces a Devil May Cry series alongside of Castlevania. So there will be like a Devil May Cry Netflix series, I believe. It's kind of a good idea, honestly, though, that the quote here is, he quote acquired these Devil May Cry rights myself, so the jabronis in Hollywood don't F this one up too. Which, you know, it's true. Like, if somebody had gotten Castlevania or Devil May Cry, they would have at best made the Tomb Raider movie, the most recent Tomb Raider movies, or the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies, and that's kind of it. At worst, they're gonna make something as bad as Dragon Ball Z in live action. Now, I would argue that perhaps Netflix isn't putting enough funding into the development of Castlevania Season 2, or perhaps the team that made Season 2 of Castlevania doesn't have enough skill. Either one of those might be the case, because I feel like if you got a really good anime studio in there, you probably could have gotten some better writing and some better characterizations. But maybe not. Maybe if you hired out to an animation studio anywhere, they just wouldn't care about it, and they'd give you pretty visuals, but the writing part usually for things like that come from a pre-existing source, whether it's a light novel or manga or a visual novel game. Once you get away from those aspects, maybe that doesn't work. But if that was the case, then why did Devil May Cry Crybaby? No, why did Devilman Crybaby? Well, no, that was based off a manga, wasn't it? No, I'm thinking about the original animes on Netflix, and they all kind of suck like Castlevania Season 2 did, in my opinion. Yeah, I think that they have a problem with writers. They need to get some better writers in there. And like Neo Yokio, for instance, with Jaden Smith. Yeah, Netflix can certainly screw it up too. Season 3 of Castlevania has already been greenlit too. I'm not 100% sure what the Devil May Cry series even would look like. Apparently there's an Assassin's Creed anime that's also in the works, according to TechRaptor. Like, the Assassin's Creed anime series would make a lot of sense, frankly, because you've got characters and stories all over. the place that you could do with that. But I think the Devil May Cry series, as a person who's only played DMC, the reboot, it's kind of basic. It's you're fighting demons, and you're a half demon, half angel, and your brother is like an evil angel too, or something. It's like, play this, take that, play that, and here we go. Moving on, TechRaptor has an article, David Brevik and the Terrors of It Lurks Below. This is talking about a game, it's like an interview talking about a game that looks like a pixely 2D Minecraft. What was that game? Terraria style clone. Okay, I need to play 20 more Murlocs. Man, you really have to play a lot to get that 100 gold, don't you? So yeah, this is a really long TechRaptor article talking about It Lurks Below. And I have no interest in that. And TechRaptor has another article, Puzzle Solve in Storybook Worlds in the Puppet of Tersa, Tersa.
Victory or death for Doomhammer.
Says it's an Alice in Wonderland-esque adventure. Looks like it might be a point-and-click adventure game. It doesn't look like it's out yet. So yeah. This is just one of those hype articles that I'm trying to avoid reading. Because there's no reason. There's just no reason to read these hype articles when I'm looking at every game that comes out on Steam anyways. And I don't know how I'd get away from that, frankly. Like, this is working and making, in my opinion, a lot better news than just talking about the most recent PC Gamer article or the most recent Polygon or Kotaku drama that they're creating themselves. Give this +1/+1 and then play this and this. Attack. We have a game on Steam called The Kite, which looks like it's a adventure game / point-and-click adventure game without a point-and-click. It looks like a simplistic version of the Cat Lady, a little bit more simplistic than even the Cat Lady was, which is probably saying something. In a lot of ways, it looks like it may very well be a direct, like, clone of the Cat Lady with entire ideas and thoughts. But we're not saying anything horrific here, so if this is a horrific game at all, it might be here. And see, this is like a this is a free game, so I can put it on the follow list, but I've really got to dance around the idea of how am I going to cover free games at this point. Like, I kind of don't think I am. Like, I'm more of the opinion that there's a good chance I'll just highlight these free games and then put them on the wish list and then never play them at all. Seems like that very well might be the way this goes. Alright, finally. Let's see. Play cards. Next, we have a game on Steam that is tagged sexual content and nudity, so I won't show it. It's called Sakura Sakura, but oddly, it's not from the Sakura series developer who made games like Sakura Dungeon and Sakura Clicker. So yeah, this game is $34.99. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a visual novel. We could look at this developer and see that they haven't made anything else at all.
Now?
We can look at this publisher, and it's Soul Press, which Soul Press really only has like a couple of games. Interesting. And like one of their games that they've developed is mixed, and one of their games that they have developed is positive. So a game like this, I guess I put it on the wish list, and then we look at it and we see what happens from there. Let's see. I have no idea of how to defeat this without just killing everything, so just kill everything, I suppose. I could have potentially tried for this. I wouldn't have been able to play that anyways. So yeah, Sakura Sakura goes on the fall list. He'll probably get knocked off the fall list.
Ready for action.
GameIndustry.biz has this article. This name, I don't know how you even pronounce it. It's the number 2 milli, scrubs. So maybe that's 2 million scrubs. Donald Faison accused Fortnite of stealing dance moves. Quote, I don't even want to bash them for all the millions. I just feel like I have to protect what's mine, says the rapper. So apparently, this rapper 2 Milli has announced plans to take legal action against Epic for using the move, the Milky Rock, renamed Swipe in the game. Not only using it, but earning revenue from it, as it's roughly $5 in the game store to buy that move.
Always little time.
You see, I wouldn't be surprised if this move probably was stolen from the actor. Let's see. Hey, yeah, we're up to rank 24 in a win streak bonus. On the wild. Yay. Ten more Murlocs to play. Apparently 2 Milli told us to CBS. Whatever, I mean.
Thrall versus Valera. Watch.
Apparently 2 Milli is also the actor in the movie Scrub, in the TV show Scrubs. So, yeah. And there's like a video here.
None will survive.
What this is what I'm wondering about here is there a way to copyright movement? Like, is dancing copyrightable? I think this opens the door in such a weird way that this makes a huge issue for the idea of wireframe movements all becoming copyrighted. And is your wireframe movement too close to our wireframe movement, or is your dance copyrightable? Like, it really does go to a level of insanity. Like, let's see. Like, I just don't think that this would stand up in court. I don't think this should stand up in court. As somebody who doesn't want to see copyright become even more insanely over abused and used, the idea that every streamer that's dabbing on YouTube and Twitch all of a sudden gets these lawsuits from somebody who claims to have invented dabbing. I mean, think of the nightmare. And there is legal precedent to say, no, we can't have this happen. This would flood the courts. This would cause a great injustice to society's free expression, which under the First Amendment, free expression does exist. So that includes also like movement on top of speech. That there have been cases that also agreed to that. So so again, it just comes. It would just be such a terrible decision for that court case to even go to trial. Epic should just throw some like a settlement, like a one-time settlement, and be done with it. But frankly, I think Epic could also just ignore him.
What lurks in the depths?
Moving on, GameIndustry.biz has another article. Valve is under fire for its, quote, greedy artifact monetization system. The developer introducing new features during the game's beta to alleviate some concerns. Last I heard, like, everything costs way too much in Artifact. Way too much. That you can get absolutely useless cards that have no value. The first sets that you get when you buy into the game originally for like the $20, those cards are basically useless to start off with, because everybody's going to have them. Absolutely 100% of everybody's going to have them. So those are are not special cards at all. The ranked play, something like playing Arena in Hearthstone, is designed specifically so you cannot go infinite, so you always would have to put more money in to buy more tickets to play more. So it's just like greed upon greed upon greed. And to take a step back, Valve is kind of obviously a very greedy company. They're just kind of good about being quiet about it, so not too many people complain about it. While Valve would make tons of money releasing a Half-Life 3, they are making plenty of money just taking that $100 from Steam Direct people who aren't going to see $100 in sales, or getting their 30% off of cut off of every game being sold. So yeah, it shouldn't be surprising that Valve is greedy. It's a little bit surprising how incredibly badly greedy that it seems like they are. I think
Well played.
I've lost.
Job's done.
Oh well. Yeah. So Disguised Toast, we talked about this in the chat. Somebody came on the chat and talked about Disguised Toast has quit Hearthstone, and that's why Hearthstone feels dead on YouTube. I would argue maybe Hearthstone has always been dead on YouTube, and it's really more of a Twitch thing. I went and looked at his Twitch streams, and it didn't seem like he made any specific video. He definitely didn't make a specific video on YouTube talking about him leaving Hearthstone. His ban was like for a year, but it was like a year ago. So I don't think that unless this was a case of he decided a year ago and he just had to finish up some contracts. I don't think that was a part of it. Seems like he was just more into playing like Nintendo Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee games, which is what he's all into now. I don't know how he's making any money there without Nintendo Content ID copywriting all that, but whatever. Disguised Toast also made a video talking about how much money an average content creator on Twitch makes, and he talked about the numbers he was making. He was making considerable amounts. I think it was like $40,000 to maybe even $90,000 a month, like ridiculously large amounts of money, which certainly goes to show how that money is just not getting spread around and shared to most streamers. As a YouTube streamer who's making exactly $0 and 0 cents, who even when he was in the partner program was only making about 7 cents a week. Yeah, that money is definitely not getting spread around.
Job's done.
I just wanted to mention that though, to say I'm not of the opinion that Disguised Toast is dragging down Hearthstone. I think he is drinking his own Kool-Aid, and his fans are drinking his own Kool-Aid a little too much there. There's still nothing that's going to replace Hearthstone as far as I can see, and until there's something that can replace it, Hearthstone will stay at its same level of popularity and just slowly, ever so slowly, lose a few more players. But it's probably going to have a very strong player base for quite a long time, because there's nothing to replace it. And if you are the type of person who doesn't care about streamers, doesn't care about what the hottest, newest game is, you just want something that you can play while waiting on a bus, you'll just stick with Hearthstone. You're probably committed to it. And Artifact certainly is not coming in to kill Hearthstone by far. That being said, I also want to point out I don't have any real love for Hearthstone. I would jump ship in a second if I thought that there was an actual option. That there just kind of isn't another option. This is inherently just the Facebook issue. Like, everybody would leave Facebook if there was a better option, but there really isn't. Twitter is the best, closest idea, or Instagram is a slight idea if you don't care about talking to people really and just want to post photos. But if you kind of have to get everybody, all your friends, to leave too, and that's where it falls. I have some Facebook memories talking like from 7 years ago. On my personal Facebook, where I talk about how I'm leaving Facebook forever, and so I've been through that whole idea many times, and it's just it's ridiculousness at this point to even suggest that you're quitting Facebook. And I'm in a weird position, particularly where I have very few Facebook friends in the first place, so I could just piss off and get defriended by probably a dozen people, and I wouldn't have any friends at all. And then but even at that, I'd still probably continue to use Facebook, because I've always used it as a journal system more than anything, just a place to post thoughts, memes, funny photos. I didn't care who was looking at it or not. Let's see. Yeah, that's a bit of a rant. Game Searcher has an article. Well, it's a video. Contrast and context in BioWare stories and schematics. I feel like Game Sutra or some other people have been talking about BioWare games quite a lot lately. It seems odd. It seems kind of just weirdly timed. Okay. 7, this, that, and that. And return. Because this is a video, there's really nothing to talk about. This is one of those GDC presentations too, which I'm not sure any of the GDC presentations really matter at all. Have we played enough Murlocs? Finally. And now we can just switch over to Battlecry, the Battlecry deck, and get that done. We need to play, I think, 33 more Battlecry games. We have a Chinese-only game on Steam called, I think I can show this off, it's called Jinlin Love Story, and it seems like it's a low effort, hey, here's a 3D model, it's tagged sexual content adventure games. This is kind of what I have come to expect this terrible CG level for like low effort Chinese games. They're usually very focused on using sex to sell, and they're just not good. And it's, yeah. I don't want to rag on it too much, but sometimes I feel like I call games cheap Chinese knockoffs, and then so many of them actually aren't. Or they don't look like it, because even the Chinese developers have gotten better at making games that don't look like they're cheap. They're getting better at asset flips. So of course that game's not making it to the wish list. Although I think this game might. Short Circuit VR. A VR game where you're doing actual electronics on an actual breadboard. Well, not an actual breadboard. Sounds slightly interesting. Depending on how much of this really can be done and how much simulation can really be done. Because this might be pretty limited in the actions that you can pull off. It's early access, it's free, so I'll put it on the fall list. Let's see, draw a secret from my deck and play. Shenzhen IO almost certainly would be better, but Shenzhen IO is kind of complicated. So if you're just trying to get a kid into electronics, maybe you would do a VR game, but then there's really no reason to do that either. Like, you can do low voltage, 5 volts, 3.3 volts, 1.8 volts circuitry. I don't think you do 1.8 volts actually on a breadboard. You could do that in basically kindergarten. Like, you can give the kids 9-volt batteries. They may lick them, they may stick them in their mouth, as long as they don't swallow them and choke on them. That's basically all that's going to happen. As long as they don't chew on batteries, that's all that's going to happen. Like, you're not getting into the realm of 120 volts AC or anything. And as long as you're doing breadboard designs, you can have a completely solderless lab which is often a requirement for schools, is that they don't want kids using soldering irons. They don't want them using the solder that releases toxic fumes. But yeah, I don't see why you would really want to do that in VR. You'd be better off doing it in the real world. And if you're just a parent and you want your kids to learn to learn circuit design, yeah, you can certainly do that very easily in the real world over VR. It'd be a lot cheaper too when you think about if you're paying $600 for a VR headset. Let's see. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Draw the Way, which I don't know what kind of game this is. Is this a Super Meat Boy game? Is it a platformer? There's a lot of dark screenshot syndrome happening here. This UI looks pretty bad. I think this isn't making it to the wish list. Yeah, fall list. The idea of the name sounds slightly intriguing, that you're drawing a path. But the actual gameplay looks pretty boring and just generic. Yeah, this doesn't look good enough. Let's see, we could look at this developer, but of course he hasn't made anything else. Let's see. Black Friday and Cyber Monday is happening, so TechRaptor has the GameStop Black Friday deals of 2018. Let's see. All orders over $35 will have free shipping. Interesting. All versions of the Xbox One consoles have received discounts. So let's see, there's a Xbox One. Let's just skim through this and see what the best deal is. The Xbox One S 1TB Minecraft Creator Bundle is $200. The Xbox One terabyte Xbox One 1TB Tom Clancy Division Console Bundle is $179.
We have many secrets.
I'm not 100% sure that there really is a terrible Xbox One version to get if you're going cheap. And of course the Xbox One X with a like X-ray is the one you want to get generally. I wouldn't be surprised if these GameStop deals aren't great. Forza Horizon 4, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds are all discounted. Let's see. The PlayStation 4 1TB Marvel Spider-Man bundle is $200. I would argue that's probably your best deal. The PlayStation VR's Elder Scrolls Skyrim bundle is $250, or the VR Doom VFR bundle is $199. And see, those bundles really barely change anything. And then let's see, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Complete Edition, Detroit Becoming Human, Uncharted 4, Thief's End, and Firewall 0 Hour are all discounted for the PlayStation. Let's see. You can get pre-owned Switches, which might be worth it. Although, I'd be a little iffy on that one. Let's see, there's a discount for the Nintendo Labo Robot Kit, Shining Resonance, Refrain, Victor Vran, Overkill Edition, Valkyria Chronicles 4, Axiom Verge, Multiverse Edition, Rhyme, The Lost Child, FIFA 18, LA Noir, Minecraft Story Mode, the Complete Edition, which would not include Season 2, Sonic Forces. I assume it doesn't include the Season 2. I could be wrong about that, actually. Sonic Forces, Penny Punching Princess, Happy Birthdays, and Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle are all on discount. They also have some SanDisk memory cards on sale. And then there's some games in general that are on sale, such as Rainbow Six Siege, GTA 5, Overwatch Legendary Edition, Sims 4, Battlefront 2, FIFA 18, just a bunch of old games, Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered, UFC Championship Edition 3, The Long Dark, Extinction, Shadows Awakening, Banner Saga Trilogy Bonus Edition, Valkyrie Chronicles, and LA Noire. And then they have some kitsch, some toys that are on sale. Super Mario Brothers Question Block Lamp, a Pokemon Pikachu Induction Charger, Horizon Zero Dawn Alloy 6-inch plush, a Fallout chess set, a Critical Hit D20 waffle maker, a Nintendo GameCube controller, and a 6-inch plush Bloodborne of the Hunter. Yeah, not great deals, frankly. And I wouldn't really expect too much from GameStop as far as deals. The deals you're going to get is going specifically into a GameStop store, looking at their regional used games. My suggestion would be go in there, get a used but not refurbished, if there's a difference. I don't even know if there's a difference. Xbox 360 or Xbox One, whatever's the cheapest, or if the Xbox One is like $50 more than an Xbox 360, I'd go with that. And then just buy a ton of Lego Xbox 360 games, and you could have the backwards compatibility list on your phone and just buy a bunch of Xbox 360 games used real fast. Or you could just run the gamble at this point and just buy a bunch of Xbox 360 games and hope that they're backward compatible or will be backward compatible in a reasonable amount of time. TechRaptor has the same article about Spyro Reignited Trilogy lacking subtitles, and Activision Blizzard going, quote, "We will evaluate going forward," which is just to say we're not going to do anything. And we have another very low effort paper doll game, I would guess is what you would call it, called Hentai in Your Life on Steam. I guess we can actually show it. It's like more and more of these games are not pulling any tricks here. So let's just show it. So it's just a bunch of garbage in general with a few anime girls and outfits. Maybe there's microtransactions in it. Or maybe you just, with in-game currency, have to buy outfits. It's a very low effort game, of course, so it's not making it to the wish list.
Jaina versus Valir.
Gamer Sutra has an article. The devs of a game called Delver, D-E-L-V-R, have released their tech publicly under the open source license. Now, looking at a screenshot of Delver, it looks like it is a dungeon crawler that has characters that are flat in 2D, kind of like a Paper Mario, and a little pixely. So I'm not 100% sure how much their code is really worth. There is certainly points where you can waste your time trying to learn and trying to program a game towards bad code, when it would have been easier just to make your own code in the first place. But the general idea is not terrible. It really isn't. Inherently, though, I think learning the programming and coding to make something in Unity or Unreal is way smarter. Like, that is a way better use of your time.
Get in there, fight, maggot. Than
trying to go with some obscure engine. Even RPG Maker has that same problem. It's like RPG Maker really shouldn't exist. It should just be making RPGs in Unity. Honestly, if RPG Maker was just a plugin in Unity, it would be better.
Cast a spell. I want to cast a spell.
Let's see. TechRaptor has an article, Star Citizen celebrates anniversary and 200 million was raised with a free week in a new planet. So, Star Citizen still seems to be successful. For whatever that's worth. I don't think I would ever actually play that game.
Speak your peace.
Let's see. Need a frozen card and I'll never have a frozen character.
So fun.
Next we have a game on Steam called It's Possible, which is a Super Meat Boy clone. Looks like a pretty low effort, graphically speaking game. Yeah, I don't see any reason for this to make it to the fall list. See, I have so many games left over that this next recording, which we should probably break up in the next game or two, it really is just going to break down to an entire recording of talking about games. Let's see, do we want to kill this guy? I think we want to kill this guy. Gamatsu, this may be the only Gamatsu article for today. Jump Force has some screenshots for Hamaru Kenshin and Shisho Makoto, which I believe is the enemy for Hamaru Kenshin, Kenshin being the main character from Rurouni Kenshin, also known as Samurai X for a brief time in its original release in the West. Let's see.
You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
Now we have it frozen.
Spells are fun. So fun.
Shisho Makoto is this like the main enemy of Rurouni Kenshin, and he's like his entire body is burned and bandaged, so it's he like feels no pain because all his nerve endings have been painted off. It was like quite an interesting wrap up of the series, and I missed all the middle part. I do have slight intention of maybe going back and watching it. It's on what am I trying to say? It is on Netflix. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's just a matter of time management and commitment because it's such a long series. Rurouni Kenshin is. Next we have a game on Steam called QUI VR Vanguard. I guess that's Quiver. This is another VR game standing in place using arrows, tower defense style game. But apparently
what to do?
This isn't out yet. So I'll just throw it on the follow. It seems like you can play it without VR, which might be interesting. So yeah, easiest solution, throw that onto the follow list and we'll see what happens.
Excuse me.
Remember, I'm just trying to play Battlecry cards right now, so there's not really anything else that needs to be done.
Runs out on me.
I think I have gotten a lot more generous about putting things on the follow list, but that's fine. I may even do like a first pass at looking at the fall list without recording it, but I would try to avoid that, honestly, because then that's me doing work that's not turning into video content, which is the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to turn all work into video content. See, this is funny because I think I could potentially win here. Let's see, is there anything? Yeah, had I shot that and had it hit the face 3 different times, I would have won. Gamatsu has an article, Away Journey to the Unexpected, has a gameplay trailer. It's a colorful first-person adventure due out in 2019. Is it coming to the West? Yeah. It's due out for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC in 2019. Apparently it already has a Steam page. Okay, so yeah, I'll put the Steam page on the follow list and get hyped about the game. Not really. I'll actually remove, not get hyped at all. Alright, so we are real close to finishing the Battlecry deck, and then, so we'll play that game, and then we'll just leave this for Wednesday. Although leaving things for Wednesday is probably a terrible move. I probably should finish everything today and have Wednesday be the short experience, because Wednesday is also the day we'll have to do the Tavern Brawl. Yeah, that might be how this needs to break down going forward. TechRaptor has an article. Now this is Pod Racing, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer Steam releases here. This is one of the many LucasArts, now owned by Disney Games, that have been put on Steam. And so that is very interesting, and we'll get to that in a second.
Jaina versus Anduin.
The light shall bring
We have a
victory.
game on Steam called Matchville. It's a match 3 game. Doesn't look particularly impressive, but also it doesn't look terribly horrible. So if it's free to play early access, I'll just put it on the follow list. If this turns out to be the next Candy Crush, I guess then I would want to cover it. I don't want to just judge a book by its cover and never let any of the new games challenge older games just because the idea has been done before. TechRaptor has an article, get a library of lewd games with the Nutaku desktop client. So Nutaku being a adult-only game storefront, which maybe actually needs to exist, and depending on whether Steam is gonna keep their word and behave the way they said they were gonna behave, or not, as far as being pro-free speech.
Get in there and fight, maggot.
So yeah, it seems like you may get there's a bunch of free-to-play games on the storefront. To be fair, all the Nutaku games that I've seen so far, none of them are really great quality though. This is going into a realm of you've embraced your inner pervert, and you are in such a situation where you can play adult sex games almost universally for a lot more time than most people probably even play regular games. So I'm still not sure how well it is here. TechRaptor gets some kickback for advertising Nutaku, so they cover their stuff, but honestly, Nutaku kind of deserves to get more coverage because they're sending out press releases, they're releasing games. It's just they're getting no coverage from people like Giant Bomb. Like Giant Bomb would never say the phrase Nutaku at all. And half of that is because they're sex games, and half of that is because they're slightly anime looking characters. Check Raptor has a different article. H1Z1 Pro League shutting down. Teams are still waiting on their stipend payments. Yeah, I imagine they're going to get screwed on that. I don't think this article really needs to be covered any more than that. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. Until somebody for sure comes out and says, yeah, there is no money left, you're not getting paid, or somebody files a lawsuit. That's the next point in which you can actually have stories. Let's see. There's this article somebody linked to on Twitter. It's called "Can Video Games Improve the Health of Older Adults with Schizophrenia?" ? I think the answer might be yes, but maybe not so much as you would think, because what you have to boil it down to is, do you want a schizophrenic older adult to be memorizing how to play a video game, or do you want them to memorize how to button their shirt? Like, the more pressing day-to-day activity might be more helpful. But also, a lot of older adults, and with or without schizophrenia, get ignored and don't have anything to do, and they're just bored, and that leads to mental degradation. So if they've got the free time, and it comes down to, are they sitting in front of a TV or lying in bed in front of a TV, or are they doing something interactive that makes them think? Doing something interactive that makes them think probably is a better idea. I don't think video games are the only thing there, or there's anything special about playing video games. Just a interactive experience of any kind is probably good for people with schizophrenia and other debilitating mental diseases, or physical diseases too, you know. Hand-eye coordination. Let's see. So we have this game on Steam called Farming Simulator 19 that is already mixed. I'm going to be really generous and put this on the follow list because I am kind of wondering if I ever would cover a farming simulator game. I'm not sure if there's really a need, or if they all kind of always suck. See, that's what I'm looking for. Is this a case of these farming simulator games, do they always kind of suck and people not like them, or is it just that some of them suck and there actually are some that are really good? But if I am just looking to figure something else out, I should not promote Farming Simulator to my wish list until I can really think about it and see if I actually would be interested in playing it. And I most definitely would only play one Farming Simulator probably in the lifetime of my series. It's just like, let's see what this is, let's see if this is really fun. Gamatsu has an article, Blaze Blue Central Fiction Special Edition is coming to North America on February 7th, 2019. Let's see. What consoles is it coming to? It's the Nintendo eShop for the Switch. Yeah, it seems like it's just coming to the Switch now. Doesn't seem like any other platforms.
Thank you.
I don't know if Blaze Blue Central Fiction is some side story. I was watching a speed run of like Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, and it's like a super short side story, and I'm like, what is this really? I have no idea. Like, seemed like it was a vertical slice or a demo of Kingdom Hearts, and that was kind of it. We have this game on Steam called Whispering Flames, in which this kid has a tattoo on his neck of flames, and it seems like it's a visual novel kind of romance thing. Don't know what else to say here. You can see this kid's got all these earrings too. Like, he looks too young to have tattoos and piercings. But whatever, I guess put it on a follow list, see if people like it. See if it ever gets any reviews. I think that's gonna happen a lot on the follow list. We'll just have games that never get reviews, and I'll say, well, this will stay for another time, and we'll see if anybody actually plays it. At a certain point, it's going to come straight down to, hey, if you're a fan of my channel and you want me to cover this game, you're going to have to play it yourself and tell me it's actually good, because I'm going to never have enough time to play all of these games without some recommendations. And that's not really a position I'd enjoy being in, telling my audience to play games sight unseen and report back. Gamatsu has an article, Dragon Marked for Death is delayed to January 31st, 2019 in North America and Europe. I didn't even know this game was coming out. What is it? It's sold in 2 packs, $14.99 each. And it's coming out for the Switch, it seems only. Yeah. Starting to see a lot of that where
we have many secrets.
A lot of cases where Switch only games just kind of get snuck out. We have this game on Steam called Pix Naughty Craft, which seems like it's a asset flip game, a resource management survival game, and it's just combining the name of like 3 different more popular games for $12.99, no discount. We haven't been talking about the price tags on games. I guess we could probably stop talking about the price of games for the most part. Like, it's not super useful information when I'm just putting things on the follow list. That's something I could look at later. Is this guy gonna take a victory or what? Or is he just letting me play all my cards? Because if I sit here for 15 more turns, that's gonna be annoying. TechRaptor has an article, you can now buy Assassin's Creed wine. I guess if you're of legal drinking age. Seems like what they've done is they've taken probably some really bad wine that probably did not ferment well, if I was to guess, and slapped some labels on them with Assassin's Creed branding. That's typically what I would think would happen with bad wine if you're not trying to straight up just mix it into boxed wine, which sometimes you can't even do that. I think, I don't know a lot about wine making, but I think if the wine is literally not that good, you can't even mix it into a very generic boxed wine, mixed blend type thing that is just trying to average the taste. Okay, well, we went just a little long, and we've still got a ton of games to talk about, and I think we may just forever be behind the curve on games until we run into some daily quests that are super long. I guess I could clean it up and do the last one the daily quest that is on the Americas account and this account. We may need to even break it up. Like, instead of leaving one extra to be done on the Americas account, maybe I do the Americas account and then I don't do the Asian or the European account third daily quest on a Monday. That might be it. How to do it too. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. Stay tuned if you're watching live. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.